Hello, lovely yoga friends. I am Amy, if you haven't practiced with me before, and if you are one of the fabulous people who is here all the time, then thank you so much for coming back again. So this video is in response to a request for some more short 20-minute little videos, and this one is going to focus on lower body strength and mobility. So not just flexibility, where we force ourselves into a pose or, use power to get ourselves deeper into a stretch, but actually the range of motion in a joints and being able to get into that movement using strength and our range of motion, if that made any sense whatsoever. So we will begin today in a Baddha Konasana position, facing the top of the mat, bringing the soles of the feet to touch, letting the knees drop out wide. The feet can be close in towards the groin or they can be far away, creating a nice long diamond shape. You can bring the hands to the ankles, to the feet. You can just let them rest in between the legs, whatever works for you. And just take a moment to check in with your posture. So if your spine is like this, if you're rounding forward, then I would encourage you to pop yourself either on the edge of a cushion, on a blanket, on a block, anything to help you find a nice tall spine. And once you have got yourself settled and comfortable, just take a moment to check in with how the body is feeling today. Taking a little body scan for any areas that feel particularly tense or tight, especially in the lower body. How are the hips feeling? How are the legs feeling? Maybe how the feet are feeling. Might be some tingling in the soles of the feet, some achiness in the hips. All depends on what kind of activities you've been up to recently. And there's no right or wrong answers. You might feel nice and open today. Take a moment to notice all the parts of the body that are connected to the earth, grounding you into this present moment. Take a moment to notice your breath. Are you breathing in and out through the nose if that is comfortable for you? Are you sending the breath deep down into the belly? Are your inhales and your exhales roughly similar in length? Take 3 more deep breaths here before we start to move. Once you've finished with your 3 deep breaths, bring the hands out behind you, fingertips pointing towards the front of the mat, torso leaning back roughly at a 45-degree angle. Keep the left leg as it is. Bring the right knee to tap on top of the left. Bring the right knee down towards the floor, take the left knee over to the right. Now keep this flowing, moving from one side to the other, pivoting on the feet to help you move the knee. Rotating the femur in the hip socket. Seeing how much range of motion you can achieve in the hips here. It might increase the longer you stay here doing this for. Trying to keep the hip grounded onto the earth of the knee that you're tapping towards. So when you're tapping the left knee onto the right, we're keeping the right hip grounded. And when you're tapping right to left, you're keeping the left hip grounded. Let's go for 1 more on each side. And then let both knees drop out to the side. Shimmy yourself into full Baddha Konasana, drawing the heels in towards the groin. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, start to hinge from the hips, drawing the chest down in the direction of the feet. maybe pressing the elbows into the thighs to draw the knees even closer towards the earth if that feels good. Inhale, come back upright, bring the knees together, plant the feet on the earth, and then plant the fingertips on the mat. Start to lift the hips, drop the knees down to the mat, lift the heels, landing in toes pose. You can use the fingers to help you tuck all 10 toes onto the mat and just take a little moment wiggling around, feeling into the soles of the feet. On your next breath in, blossom through the chest, cactus the arms, lift the heart up towards the sky. And as you breathe out, lift the knees off the mat, drop the heels, and then wrap the arms around the legs, trying to make that transition without using the hands for support, but you totally can if you wish. As you breathe in, lift the heels, drop the knees, open through the chest, and as you breathe out, drop the heels, lift the knees, round everything in. Inhale, toes pose, opening the chest. Exhale, ball of yarn, rounding everything in. Let's do one more of each. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling, rounding everything in. Now as you inhale, maybe start to straighten the legs, lift the hips up towards the sky, Uttanasana. Take a little moment to pedal out through the legs, bending and straightening one leg at a time. Now start to walk the big toes together if they're not already. Leave a little gap in between the heels, bend the knees deeply, sweep the fingertips down so they graze the mat, and then reach them up to the sky, sink the hips down, chair pose. Inhale here. Exhale. Now ground down into the right foot, start to draw the left heel in towards the left glute, hold here for just an extra moment, and then inhale, straighten the right leg, draw that left knee into the chest, fingers reach up to the sky, start to take some big circles with that left knee. I always say imagine like you've got a paintbrush stuck on your knee and you're trying to paint a big circle in the air in front of you. Switch direction of those circles. Make them as big as you can. And now draw that knee back into the chest, hinge at the hips, reach the fingertips either straight out in front or bring them to heart center, warrior 3. Little baby micro bend in that right knee so we're not locking out the joint. And now take 5 pulses on that right knee. For 1, straighten it. For 2, for 3, 4, 5, come back to your warrior 3 and take 10 mini pulses with that left leg for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg straight out behind and then sweep that leg through, standing staff, reach the fingertips straight up to the sky. Left toes can be flexed or pointed and we'll take 10 pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly start to bend into that right leg. Lower yourself down via a pistol squat maybe, catching the balance as you go down just for a moment, and then stamp the left foot underneath the left hip. Bring the feet a little bit wider, toes point out, heels point in, Malasana, but with the hands reaching up towards the sky, so finding the strength in the hips. Now as you inhale, start to straighten the legs, coming up all the way to standing, and as you exhale, lower yourself back down into your Malasana. Let's do 4 more. Inhaling, straightening the legs, don't go too quickly, keep it nice and controlled. Exhaling, lowering back down. 3 more. Deep breath in, come all the way up to standing. Deep breath out, lower yourself down. Just 2 more, you have got this. Inhaling up to stand. Legs are burning. Exhale, lower yourself all the way back down. 1 more time, you can do it. All the way back up to standing, and then bring the feet to hip width apart, toes point forward, deep breath in, reach the arms up, deep breath out, Uttanasana. Once again, just take a little moment to pedal out through the legs. And then start to bend into the knees, drop the hips down towards the heels, wrap the arms around the legs, ball of yarn. Once again, inhale, drop the knees, lift the heels, open through the chest, and breathe out, round everything in. Fill the lungs, lift the chest, blossom the arms open, and empty the lungs, round everything in. One more time. Deep breath in, blossom, open, shine that heart forward, deep breath out, rounding everything in. And then once again, straighten the legs, lift the hips, Uttanasana. Walk the feet in, big toes are touching, and then sweep the arms down to graze the floor before reaching them up to the sky, sinking down into the hips, chair pose. This time let's take a little moment, lifting the heels off the mat, balancing on our tiptoes as high as you can, and then drop them back down. Root down through the left foot, draw the right heel in towards the right glute, balance chair, and then straighten the left leg, draw that right knee up and in, start to take some big circles with that right knee. Switch directions. And then draw that knee back into the chest, hinge yourself forward so the torso is parallel to the floor, warrior 3. Hands at heart center or reaching straight out in front for a little extra challenge, and we'll take 5 pulses on that left leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Losing my balance here. 10 little pulses with that right leg for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sweep that right leg all the way through, standing staff and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then slowly lower yourself down via a pistol squat, maybe bending into that left leg, catching the balance for just a moment, hovering above the floor, and then stamping that right foot down on the earth, Malasana. Take a little wiggle, maybe lifting one heel at a time, feeling into the hips. And then once again, you're really going to hate me. This time we're going to bring the hands to heart center, press the elbows into the knees, lift the hips so the torso is parallel to the earth, and then drop them back down. Lift, gaze down at the floor, lower, gaze straight ahead. Keep it going. Let's do 5, 4, keep breathing, 3, 2, and 1. Lower yourself back down and just have a little wiggle around, pressing the elbows into the knees here. And then start to lift the hips up to the sky. Toes walk in so they're pointing towards the front of the mat. Uttanasana. Sending the breath into the backs of the legs. Root down through the right foot. Inhale, sweep the left toes all the way up to the sky. Standing split. Now a big challenge here. Bring the fingertips onto the earth if they're not already, and then start to lift the right heel to hover off the mat, coming up onto the right tiptoes. And then if you are an absolute badass, you might even start to hover the hands off the mat. So we're literally just balancing on the right toes. Can I do it? Just for a second. If that heel's lifted, bring it back down. Bend that left knee, heel into the glute. Once again, take some circles with that left knee. Switch direction of the circles. Now keep that heel drawing into the glute. Reach the left hand around for the outside edge of the left foot and the right hand around for the inside edge of that foot. Start to bend into the right knee. Tap that left knee to the back of the right calf. Inhale, straighten the leg, maybe kick that left foot up to the sky. Exhale, bend everything in, Jiva squat. Let's do 3 more. Inhaling to straighten, exhaling to tap everything in. 2 more. Inhale, exhale. Last time, deep breath in, deep breath out. Now keep the knees bent, release the grip on the foot, and then drop that left knee to the outside edge of the right foot. Sit yourself down, landing in half Lord of the Fishes, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Right foot is stamped to the outside edge of that left knee. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Either hugging that right knee, maybe hooking the elbow. Inhaling to find some length through the spine. Exhaling to go a little bit deeper into the twist. Now inhale, come back through center. Bring that right foot to the outside of the left hip. Gomukhasana. Just here for 2 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sweep both arms all the way up to the sky. Now without using the hands, can you uncross from your Gomukhasana, plant both feet on the floor, lift the hips and make your way into toe balance. So it's like toes pose, but instead of the knees being on the mat, the knees are lifted. We're balancing on our tiptoes, holding here for just an extra moment. And then drop the heels down to the earth, straighten the legs, once again landing in our Uttanasana. On your next breath in, ground down through the left foot, sweep the right toes all the way up to the sky, maybe coming onto the fingertips and then starting to lift the left heel off the mat, coming up onto your left tiptoes. And then maybe for even more of a challenge, you start to hover the hands off the mat, even just for a single second, half a second, and then falling out of it like I am. And drop that heel down if you've got it lifted. Bend the right knee. Start to take some nice big circles with that right knee. Take them in the opposite direction. And then draw that heel in towards the glute. Reach the hands around to clasp that foot. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, Jiva squat. Inhale. Exhale, tap everything in. 3 more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bend. 2 more. Fill those lungs as you straighten the leg. Empty the lungs as you tap it in. Let's go for 1 more. Calves are on fire. Tap that foot in. Release the foot. Drop the right knee to the outside of the left foot. Sit your hips down. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, twist over to the left hand side. Maybe hooking that elbow for a moment. Inhale, unravel back through center. Bring that left heel to the outside of the right hip. Gomukhasana or cow face. Just pausing here for 2 nice deep breaths. Inhale, sweep both arms all the way up to the sky, and then without using the hands, we unravel from our Gomukhasana, plant the heels on the earth, lift the hips, bring the knees to hover off the mat, coming all the way up onto the toes. And now this time, plant the hands at the top of the mat, step 1 foot at a time, back to plank pose. Lift the right toes to hover off the mat and pulse that leg for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw the right knee to the right elbow, step that foot to the outside of the hand, drop the left knee down. Take a little moment to wiggle around here in your lizard. Option is to come down onto the forearms, and you can roll onto the outside edge of that right foot. Another option here is to bend the left heel in towards the left glute, sweep the right hand around for that left foot, and then draw it in, feeling into the quads. This is one of my favourite stretches ever. We're getting into the hips, the quads, the chest, the shoulders, a little bit of everything. If you've got that foot, release it, bring the hands back to the earth and start to bring the right foot in towards the left hip. Right knee drops down by the right wrist. pigeon pose, but we're not going to sink down and chill in our pigeon. We're going to find the mobility. So reach the arms all the way up overhead, start to lift the left knee off the mat, and then swing that leg straight out in front of you. Swing it back behind. Can you keep it hovering off the mat? Don't let that left leg touch down, and then sweep it back in front of you. Keep it flowing like this, leaning the torso forward as you swing that leg back, and maybe leaning the torso back a bit as you swing it forward. Let's do one more. Sweep that leg back, sweep it forward, and last time, sweep that leg back, bring the hands to the mat, lift that right knee, step it back to plank. Lift the left leg to hover and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left knee to left elbow. Step that foot to the outside of the hand, drop the back knee down, and just feel into your lizard pose. If you took the quad stretch on the other side, let's draw that right heel in, reach the left hand around. Your pose does not have to look anything like mine. If you've got the grip on the foot, release it, bring that left hand back down, left knee comes to left wrist, left heel comes in towards the right hip, and just take a moment here in your pigeon, and then we reach the fingertips up to the sky as we inhale, and then start to swing that right leg straight out in front as if there's a door in front of you that you're trying to shut with your foot. Swing it back behind, maybe you keep that leg lifted, swing it back forwards, keep it flowing. Reaching it behind, swinging it through. Let's go for one more. Kick it back, kick it forwards, take it back, frame that foot, step it back to plank, and then drop the knees back down onto the earth. Big toes to touch, knees come as wide as the mat, sink the hips down towards the heels, child's pose. Option to stack one hand on top of the other, making a little pillow to rest your head on, and just closing our practice with 10 breaths here in child's pose. Once you've done your 10 breaths, start to slowly press yourself back to an upright, comfortable seated position, and we will seal our practice with one final deep releasing breath. Inhale through the nose and sigh out through the mouth. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me today. I hope you enjoyed getting some lower body mobility in. If you did enjoy this practice, I would be so happy if you could hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It means that you will never miss a practice from me. Of course, you are welcome to comment with any requests, any suggestions, anything you've got to say about this video, and please do be sure to give it a big thumbs up so that I know you enjoyed it and that I should make more like it in the future. Have a wonderful day.